JetBlue Name Change Policy and Change Fee. Don't worry if you made a mistake on the ticket while booking a JetBlue flight. If you entered incorrectly, modifying your name under the JetBlue Name Change Policy is easy. An inverted name or incorrect spelling can result in an inappropriate name on a ticket. Passengers can also request name corrections on their tickets if they are married, divorced, or in another legal circumstance. JetBlue Name Change Policy simplifies the process for passengers. What is JetBlue Name Change/Correction Policy? The JetBlue Name Correction Policy allows passengers to correct minor errors in their names, up to 3 characters, for free within 24 hours of booking. After this window, changes may incur a fee plus the difference in fares. JetBlue has a 7-day deadline to edit the name on a ticket. Generally, major name changes or transfers to another person are not permitted and may require cancellation and rebooking. Rules for JetBlue Name Change Policy. Each airline has its own policy for handling passenger name errors. As with JetBlue policy, travelers must meet some rules to change their names on boarding passes. Under these conditions, there are concerns related to first, middle, and last names. Before applying for a name correction or change, you must meet the following conditions. The name correction is available to passengers who have purchased the ticket directly from JetBlue or a JetBlue associate. Travelers should be able to make changes to their original PNR. Otherwise, you must initiate a new booking. Reissues of tickets are limited to 1 per customer. Therefore, you should be cautious when making corrections. Before submitting the details again, make sure they are accurate. For name corrections on tickets, travelers must enter their name card numbers. JetBlue requires passengers to submit legal documents to change their name. Government verification is required to authenticate information. Name changes are allowed on JetBlue Airlines for nicknames, last names, middle names, and first names, among other things. When a passenger is married, divorced, or adopted, their names can be changed. Ticket terms, JetBlue Name Correction. Passengers sometimes incorrectly enter their names on reservations. As a result, JetBlue has provided travelers with instructions on changing the name on their air tickets. Before customers can use the name policy, they must understand several terms. The following are some of the essential terms of the name change policy. JetBlue allows passengers to make corrections to their names only in terms of characters. Upon confirmation by the airline, the character limit will be determined. Depending on the name of the customer, the character limit may differ. JetBlue Airlines does not allow passengers to transfer their names to another person who has intentionally written their name incorrectly. There is no way for an airline to acknowledge such intent. For name changes on boarding passes, customers may be charged a fee. As long as you meet the JetBlue Name Correction Policy, you may change your name as you wish. We will not change the date of birth, gender, or other information. On the JetBlue Airlines official website, passengers can also reschedule their flight under the Flight Change Policy. JetBlue Airlines, B6/279, Name Correction Policy, follow these guidelines. There is no substitution of one customer for another on JetBlue tickets due to name corrections. Name changes are subject to JetBlue Name Change Policy. The following criteria must be met for name correction to be completed. It must be JetBlue, B6/279, that validates the flight. JetBlue, B6/279, must operate and validate all flights. JetBlue name corrections are limited to 1 reissue per ticket. Additional corrections are subject to fees and fare increases and are considered name changes. It is not possible to change travel dates, flights, fare classes, or fare basic codes. To match the passport or ID approved by the government, minor name changes are permitted during travel. In conjunction with a name correction, the date of birth and gender cannot be modified. In the case of name and DOB corrections, the name change policy would apply. If the name does not change, minor changes to the DOB are allowed due to booking errors. There is a limit of 1 correction per passenger. Any additional changes would be subject to JetBlue Name Change Policy. Airplanes operated by B6 only, acceptable changes under JetBlue Name Correction Policy for 279 tickets. JetBlue Name Correction Type Acceptable Changes. 1. Misspelling. First/middle/last names nickname to legal name inverted names adding middle name adding the last name. The JetBlue Name Correction Policy allows for alterations to match a government-issued ID or passport, with an identification number. Date of birth and gender remains the same. 2. New legal name, marriage, divorce, adoption, OSI fee waiver code, name right. 3. Mid-travel name corrections. Mid-travel alterations are allowed per the above misspelling and new legal name guidelines if, in mistake, the name was not corrected before to first leg of travel. The name correction policy of JetBlue Airlines allows for any modifications to match the government-issued passport/ID, provided the DOB and gender remain the same. B6 only flights, 279 ticket stock, JetBlue Name Correction Policy Instructions. Ensure JetBlue permits name correction by referencing the chart above. If it is not feasible to change the original PNR, then book a new PNR with the corrected name. When possible, secure the same fare class as the ticketed flight, but if that cannot be achieved, book in the lowest available fare class. To re-enter secure flight information, the passenger's new name and date of birth must match the original booking. Both name changes and DOB changes are not permitted. This is considered a name change. The flight should be cancelled if the name could not be modified using the PNR from the original booking. As a result, the seats will be returned to stock and there will be no possibility of a debit memo for more than one seat on the same plane. Using the waiver code name right in the tour code box, reissue the flight ticket as an even exchange. The following OSI entries must be added to both the original PNR and the new PNR. As an example, correction of OSI B6 name. Any violation of JetBlue Name Correction Policy will result in a debit memo. Thanks for watching.